Kayaknya udah banyak banget nih Kak Anissa yang masuk di sini ya. Kita sapa-sapa dulu yuk. Oke, ada dari mana nih? Kak Diah Rosmaita. Selamat siang, saya Diah Rosmaita dari Disdik Prop Jabar, KCD 2 Bogor. Hadir. Oke, selamat datang untuk yang dari Bogor. Selanjutnya ada Kak siapa lagi ya? Oh, Kak Muh Sogirun dari Watampones, Sulawesi Selatan. Wah, jauh banget ya. Selamat bergabung. Ada juga yang dari SMK Ahmad Yani. Oke, selamat bergabung. Ahmad Budi Sam bilang hadir. Oke, selamat bergabung di acara kami. Selanjutnya ada lagi dari Fevi Yulita SMKN 1 Kaur. Selamat datang, selamat bergabung. Oh ya, ada yang dari Klaten juga, Sugeng Santoso, selamat datang dan selamat bergabung. Ada Pak Bambang Haryanto STMT, hadir, monggo. Oh, dari Ngawi ya, SMPN 5 Ngawi ya Pak, selamat datang. Ada juga Akmaludin dari Universitas Nusa Mandiri Jakarta, selamat bergabung. Dan selanjutnya ada Ariska Amik GMI Tegal, silakan bergabung. Oh, ada salam-salam bagus nih Kak Anissa. Ada yang fans nih. Mbak Anissa, nice to see you. Oh, kayaknya audiensnya udah mulai nambah nih. Udah ada 60. Coba kita dicek yang ada, apa namanya, yang ada di YouTube kira-kira udah berapa ya? Selamat datang juga dan selamat bergabung untuk Moh Munir dari Semarang sendiri. Oke. Untuk Dede Jubaida SMPN 1 Cikidang, Kabupaten Sukabumi hadir. Siap, silakan bergabung. Ada dari Ahmad Budi Santoso, SMK Ahmad Yani, Kota Probolinggo, Jawa Timur. Silahkan bergabung. Ada juga Vivi Gustina dari Jambi City. Selamat bergabung. Ternyata dari jauh-jauh ya. Lanjut lagi ada Kak Dr. Lili Nurlaili. Oh, ini speaker ya. Oke, apakah suara saya udah terdengar dengan jelas? Oke. Lanjut lagi nih ya. Oh, sepertinya udah tambah lagi nih, makin banyak. Ada Kak Arifin Hargianto. Oh, volumenya harus kecil bingit katanya. Sekarang sudah normal ya suaranya ya? Mohon dikonfirmasi. Untuk Kak Uka Sukasma dari MI Uswatun Hasanah Sukabumi, Jawa Barat, selamat bergabung. Ada R. Ahmad Junaidi dari SMAN 11 Surabaya, silakan bergabung. Ada juga yang dari SMKN 1 Ratahan, Kabupaten Minahasa Tenggara, Sulawesi Utara. Wah, jauh banget ya. Ada yang dari Kalimantan Timur hadir. Oke, selamat bergabung. Oh, suaranya masih kecil ya? Cek. Kok masih ada yang komen suara kecil? Kalau sekarang apakah masih kecil, Kak, suaranya? Pak Solikan, boleh dikonfirmasi Pak Solikan, suara saya apakah masih kecil?
Kalau saya menggunakan headset, jelas sekali ini.
Oh, kalau pakai headset jelas sekali ya, Pak. Cek. Apakah sudah terdengar jelas suaranya? Oke, sudah bagus suaranya walau tanpa headset. Oke, baik, terima kasih. Oke, terima kasih Kak Eka, terima kasih Pak Sogirun yang sudah konfirmasi, dan selamat. Oh iya, terima kasih, sudah jelas ya. Selamat bergabung untuk yang baru join ya. Saya juga coba sapa yang dari... Oke, saya coba sapa yang dari YouTube dulu ya. Ada Kak Adnan Hiar Ardani hadir. Oke, STEKOM Sarwo ASN. Oh, Pak Sarwo, selamat datang. Untuk Munir sudah siap menyimak. Oke, terima kasih. Ada Kak Nur Hasma Hamid siap menyimak. Mantap. Ada lagi Kak Dahayu Kusmaningrum dari 354 Universitas Tekom Majapahit. Selamat bergabung dan selamat menyimak. Ada Akmaludin, selamat bergabung. Ada Ida Mulyadi, ada juga Kak Rajasferi, present and waiting. Oke. Dan next ada Kak Dewi Yuliandari dari UBSI, siap mengikuti webinar. Oke, terima kasih. Ada Kak Paulus Tamaka, ada Kak Muhammad Sokip, ada Kak Ahmad Budi Santoso. Oh, ada dua ya di YouTube sama di ini, di Zoom. Ada Kak Lulu Latifah, Kak Nur Khairiyah, Ainur Rozi, Kak Arya STP, ada Sri Kunaryati juga. Ada Kak siapa nih? Koselian dan Chris Stephen Yunus. Oke. Ada Kak Taufik dan yang lain-lain. Ternyata udah banyak banget juga yang di YouTube. Oh, ini peserta yang ada di Zoom juga makin meningkat nih. Oke, ternyata banyak banget ya yang dari jauh-jauh. Kita speakernya dari luar negeri dan audiensnya dari seluruh Indonesia. Sepertinya seperti itu ya. Untuk acara nanti kita full English ya. Full English nanti untuk di akhir speaker selesai presentasi kita akan kasih misal kesimpulan dalam bahasa Indonesia gitu. Oke, ada yang dari Palu, selamat datang, jauh banget nih. Ada Kak Agustina, oke. Ada Kak Irzal juga, Kak Agus Wahyudi dari Jambi, oke, already stay on. Terima kasih. Ada Kak, siapa lagi nih? Mr. Love, siap selalu. Oh, terima kasih banyak, Kak. Kita start jam 1 tepat ya, Kak? Oke. Oke, siap. Kak Anissa, speakernya udah pada masuk belum ya kira-kira? Udah ada ya? Dr. Lili Nurlaili, good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine. Yeah. So, who are you? Where are you right now, doctor?
Tangerang right now. I'm
Oh,
education in Manila from 2017 until 2023.
hmm.
Working the lecturer University of Ostrava.
Okay. Sorry, Dr. Lily. I think your mic is noisy. That is loud and also cannot hear.
The sound is so
Noisy.
kecil suaranya.
Yeah.
Oke, saya coba lain ya.
Iya.
Coba pakai headset.
Oke.
Halo?
Ini udah
kedengeran
jelas.
belum?
Iya, sudah jelas sekali, Bu.
Halo Mbak,
Iya,
kedengeran?
kedengaran Bu, sudah jelas
Halo,
sekali.
suaranya Mbak yang nggak kedengeran malah.
Oh, sorry suaranya hilang, Bu. Oh, ini sepertinya Pak Mampu sudah hadir ya. Halo Pak Mampuono. Oh, oke. Tidak terdengar suaranya, Bu. Oh, oke. Untuk Profesor Doktor Oke, Profesor Doktor Sahida, are you stand by here? Halo? Halo, Dokter Syahina?
Halo,
Hey,
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you today?
I'm good, how are you?
Okay. Me too. So, what time is it now?
It's 11 a.m. now.
Oh, 11 a.m. Here is 1
Okay.
p.m.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. You can stand by here first, and I will check other
Okay,
speakers.
welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. Oke, karena udah jam 1 ya, kita mulai acaranya aja ya. Jadi kita akan mulai full bahasa Inggris. Untuk di akhir pemateri nanti akan ada conclusion atau kesimpulan dalam bahasa Indonesia. Gitu. Jadi, so now, hi, good afternoon everyone, and welcome back to our international webinar. This is IoT and AI of Modern Technology. The Honorable Dr. Joseph M.Kom, Rector of STEKOM University, Head of IGVIM's Industrial Strategic Partnership, Advanced Indonesian Vocational Teacher Association, the Honorable Mr. Mampuono M.Kom, Vice Chairman of ATIC, Smart Indonesian Technolopreneur Association, General Secretary of IGI 2016 and 2020, Founder and Honor Council of IG Jateng, and the Honorable Dr. Lili Nurlaili MED, Supervisory Board of IGVIM, former attaché of the Indonesian Embassy to the Philippines on 2017 and 2020. And then the Honorable Professor Dr. Pavel Krömer, Associate Professor, Department of Computer Science VSB Technical University of Ostrava, Czech Republic, or Czech, the Honorable Dr. Sahina Nur, Assistant Professor Computer Engineering Department, Syed University, Pakistan, and then the Honorable Professor Liu Xiao Jin, Alibaba Big Data School of Fuzhou, Polytechnic, China, and the Honorable fellow student ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to welcome and join to this international webinar about IoT and AI of modern technology, presented by Universitas Sains dan Teknologi Komputer, STEKOM University, in collaboration with Smart Indonesian Teacherpreneur Association, ATIC, Indonesian Teacher Association, AGI, Advanced Indonesian Vocational Teacher Association, IGVIM, and Technical University Ostrava, Czech Republic, Syed University, Pakistan, and Alibaba Big Data School of Fuzhou, Polytechnic. So before we start this webinar, I would like to read the sequence of this international webinar. And this international webinar is divided to some sessions. The first is opening, and then and the second is sing the Indonesian national anthem, and the third is opening speech from Rector of STEKOM University, and the fourth is presentation from first speakers, and then 5 is presentation from second speakers, and then next is presentation from fourth speaker, and the last is presentation from 5 speakers on the speaker. And then next to discussion and live opening, let's open this international webinar by praying according to respective belief. Pray, please. Okay, thank you. For the second session is sing the Indonesian national anthem, please. Okay, thank you. And then the third session is opening speech by Rector of STEKOM University. He is head of Advanced Indonesian Vocational Teacher Association Industrial Strategic Partnership. Dr. Joseph M.Kom, are you ready to get your session?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Please.
Thank you, Ms. Aset. Selamat siang. Assalamualaikum semuanya. Teman-teman saya yang sangat bersemangat sekali pada siang hari ini. Dan untuk para pembicara yang dalam bahasa Indonesia, tentunya Saya mengucapkan selamat datang dan terima kasih atas kesediaannya ya. Juga untuk para audiens yang sudah hadir pada siang hari ini. Pada siang hari ini kita akan melakukan international webinar IoT and AI of Modern Technology. And here's my welcoming speech. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable, our speakers today, Mr. Mampuono, Dr. Lili Nur Naili, Professor Dr. Pavel Krömer, and Dr. Shahina Nur, Professor Liu Xiao Jin. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, may I first take this occasion to pay tribute to all of the audience of this international webinar with the title IoT and AI of Modern Technology, held by Universitas Sains and Teknologi Komputer, or STEKOM University, in collaboration with Smart Indonesian Teacherpreneurship Association, or ATIC, Indonesian Teacher Association, or IGI, Advanced Indonesian Vocational Teacher Association, or IGVIM, and Technical University Ostrava, Czech Republic, Syed University, Pakistan, and Alibaba Big Data School of Fuzhou, Polytechnic. It is a great pleasure and an honor for me to deliver these welcome remarks at this opening of the international webinar. May I first take this opportunity to express my gratitude and appreciation, as well as extend a cordial welcome to all the audiences, in particular, all the speakers of today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, in this webinar, besides as a rector of STEKOM University, I also as head of IGVIM, Industrial Strategic Partnership, or it's called Advanced Indonesian Vocational Teacher Association. I would like to give you some information in this occasion. As we know that the development of technology nowadays is changing rapidly, as the title of our today's event about IoT and IO in today's era. As we all know that now we are living side by side with technology. In other words, we, as if we cannot live without technology. For example, maybe some of the participants of this event this time feel more confused if your cell phones are left behind than other items, or your wallets are left behind, right? So these are just few examples that we are very dependent on technology. IoT, or Internet of Things, is slowly making its way in every aspect in our lives. If you don't own an IoT device yet, you will surely own one soon. Ladies and gentlemen, there are two keywords in this on the title of this event: IoT and AI. Here, I just give you all briefly about these two keywords. First, what is AI? AI, or artificial intelligence, is the intelligence embedded in machines that are trained to impersonate human or animal intelligence, emotion, and behavior. In other words, AI is a computer program that is developed in a way so that it has its own thinking and learn from its experience or experiment. For example, Alexa is an AI developed by Amazon, which is built to work as a virtual assistant to humans. Alexa is trained to recognize human speech, understand interaction, so that she can fulfill the directed tasks. For example, setting timers, playing music, purchasing groceries, etc. Based on the definition about AI, we can conclude that AI is important in our life. These are the importance of AI in our life. AI helps in reducing human error and works with remarkable accuracy. This capability is very useful, especially in the field of healthcare. AI makes our life easier by adding intelligence to the device we use. Most of the repetitive tasks like shopping, cleaning, etc. can be reduced with AI bot. This technology will make traveling easy for us, as autonomous vehicle will make traveling unnecessary. Virtual tutors can assist human teachers in catering to the individual needs of children in the education domain. AI virtual assistants will transform current customer service, giving personalized help to customers, on hence improving customer satisfaction. In the entertainment field, AI will make movies, shows, songs, and streaming feeds more customized for us, making our decision-making process easier. Ladies and gentlemen, I will just give information briefly about the AI. Then how about the IoT? The Internet of Things is the interconnection of various physical objects connected to the Internet who communicate with each other with various transmission of data. This sending and receiving of data don't require human intervention. Then, how AI enhances IoT? The Internet of Things and artificial intelligence hugely complement each other's. IoT devices collect huge amounts of data during operation with the help of their sensors, which can be used by AI to improve the performance of the device. From my short explanation above, we know that AI combined with IoT make big impact in our life. Here are for some examples in which the business world changed with the introduction of IoT and AI. First is a security and access device for unlocking doors and use of equipment. AI could be used to determine regular access patterns of different employees or roles and tiers of the employees, providing insight for future office layouts and potentially detecting suspicious activity. For emotional analysis, a solution has been made in China to scan a classroom once per 30 seconds, and the algorithm can determine students' emotion, where they are happy, sad, or bored, etc., as well as the behaviors of the students, reading, writing, raising a hand. Here, the data is gathered by the camera, and the image recognition step is performed at the local servers. Home automation to create smart home in smart homes concept. Various device and system includes fridge, air conditioner, oven, water supply, electric supply, and security system equipped with sensors in a home act like smart device and connected with IoT application. Smart cities, just like a smart home concept, the smart city works at a large scale with the combination of IoT and AI technologies. Both technologies aid in water management, waste management, drainage system, transportation system, parking system, electric grid, road and rail management, safety and security aspect of the entire city. And the healthcare industry. Healthcare generates a vast amount of useful data and IoT along with wearables at big volume. AI provides deep insight into the data and also offers assistance in HR management, real-time response, inventory management, alert pharmacy service and prediction, as well as suggestion. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this webinar will open our eyes about AI and also IoT. To conclude, I would like to extend my appreciation to the International Affairs Organization of STEKOM's University for making these international webinars. And finally, I wish you to enjoy the webinars today. Let's pray that all our efforts remains in pleasing God Almighty. Amen. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for you, Mr. Joseph. Mr. Joseph was give us some information about AI and IoT and some other. Hope the opening speech from Dr. Joseph can make audience and also us enthusiasm in participating in our international webinar today. So now is fourth session. It is presentation from first speakers. Let's me to call Dr. Lili Nur Laili. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, wait a moment. I will introduce you to audience. Dr. Lili Nur Laili, MAD. She is supervisor board of IGVIM, former attached of the Indonesian embassy to the Philippines on 2017 and 2020. Thank you. You can may continue. Maybe you can will open your you can start your presentation right now.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. You hear my voice?
Yes, we
Okay.
can hear your voice.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My honorable all of the speakers today from several countries. My honorable the president of STEKOM. My honorable all of the director in here right now, and then all of the participants today. I want to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Lili Nurlaili. I'm Attaché Education and Culture, Indonesian Embassy in Filipina, 2017 until 2020. And then right now I'm a lecturer in University Pamulang, Tangerang, di Tangerang, Banten. Thank you. I want to presentation. Please, I want to share screen.
Okay. Dr. Lily, sorry.
Yes.
I think Oke. Agak didekatkan sedikit suaranya, dokter, soalnya agak nggak kedengeran, agak noise gitu. Ya.
Kedengeran sekarang?
Oh ya, sudah. Cuman masih agak ces gitu.
Ya, baik. Ini udah full padahal 100%.
Oh, oke.
Okay.
Iya.
Thanks a lot. And then this is my presentation about the important role of artificial intelligence at present and then in the future. Artificial intelligence, or IE, is a part of computer science that studies how to make computer machines do work as well as done by humans, and even better than humans do. It can be said that AI, or artificial intelligence, is used to identify and model human thought processes and design machines so that they can mimic human behavior. Artificial intelligence provides several methods to equip computer with the knowledge and ability to reason so that they become smart machines. Some of the virtues of the artificial intelligence will make intelligence machines. Artificial intelligence is a study of how a very powerful tool and methodologies in solving business problems. Artificial intelligence will make machines work as well as humans do. Artificial intelligence includes the study of symbolic programming, problem solving, and searching. In order for a machine to be intelligent, it must be equipped with knowledge and the ability to reason. Some of the advantages of AI is more permanent, easier to duplicate and distribute, cheaper, be consistent, can be documented, can do the job better and faster. And the advantages is creative, allows people to use hands-on experience. Human thought can be used more widely. The main scope of AE, expert system, natural language processing, speech recognitions, robotic and sensory system, computer vision, intelligent computer or aided instruction, and then game playing. During the pandemic and afterward, digital talent is needed, namely, a person who has technical skills, an engineer or programmer, an entrepreneur who can master skills in the field of technology, or technopreneur. Some of the AE trends in 2021. First, AE of Things of AEOT, a combination of the Internet of Things with AE. For example, a smart office. Increased use of AE cybersecurity. AE will help prevent cybercrime with enhanced cybersecurity measures. Third, AE and cloud play a role. The use of large amount of data in the cloud, one of which will be implemented by implementing AE. Facebook will thrive using natural language processing and automatic speech recognition capabilities. 5. Robotic process automations or RPA will simplify business workflows and can streamline costs. AE improve customer experience. For example, the company will be able to analyze customer needs. 7. Big data analysis. This allows turning data into information that can be provided data ready for processing and can streamline time, operation, and cost. AE in the future plays its very important role because AE trainers can be a required profession in the future. The role of AE trainers in the future is important because they must form the character of artificial intelligence in order to understand the various language styles used and help understand different customer questions. While chatbots will never replace humans, they can help answer repetitive questions. When it comes to solving complex problems, that's when the creativity and analytical thinking of an AE trainer in training and preparing chatbot play is a very important role. Terima kasih. Thank you. Maraming salamat.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much, Dr. Lily. Untuk nanti ada sesi tanya dan jawab dokter di bagian terakhir gitu. Mohon untuk standby ya, Dok.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And I will move to next speakers. Okay, and thank you so much, Dr. Lily Nurlaili, MAD. And then now is next session. This presentation is for the next speaker. So let's move to Ms. Anissa, please.
Thank you, Ms. Azad. Can you hear my voice? Can you all hear my voice?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Azada, and thank you, Dr. Lily. That was a short but such amazing presentation. And for the next segment, we have Dr. Shahina Nur. We have Dr. Shahina Nur. She's an assistant professor in computer engineering department, Syed University from Pakistan. Dr. Shahina?
Yeah, hi Anissa.
Hello, Dr. Shahina. I hope let's just go to your presentation right away. So the time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a second, I just full screen my presentation.
I'm sorry? Martin?
Just give me a second. I'm just sharing my presentation.
Okay, okay.
Okay, is it visible?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. As we all know that our topic of the webinar is IoT and AI of the modern technology. I'm Dr. Shaina Noor, working as an assistant professor at the Department of Computer Engineering at Syed University of Engineering and Technology, Pakistan. Let's begin. What is IoT and AI of the modern technology? If I talk about the IoT, we can say that IoT refers to the system that are interrelated, internet-connected objects that are used to share information uh, over a wireless medium without the human intervention. On the other hand, if I talk about AI is basically perform those tasks that are machine-oriented and they act intelligently. We can also say that it is easy to analyze things. It must be able to classify different objects or things. For any system to be implemented, the first thing that we have is to collect the data, or it has to be gather the data. There are a number of ways by which we can collect the data. For example, it can be collected via different kind of sensors. It can be collected using computer vision, means by placing the camera on a wall or on a ceiling. You can also collect the data using wearable cameras, like wearing a camera on your shoulders, on your head, or at the side of your spectacles. So there are a number of ways by which we can collect the data. So once the data is collected, then it needs to transfer the data using any IoT hub or a gateway. So once the data is transferred, the next step is to analyze that data using different pattern recognition method and take particular action using different algorithm. It might be a machine learning algorithm or any other algorithms. So next we are going to discuss about the different application areas of IoT and AI. The first one is the very famous and very common example, that is the automated vacuum cleaners. This technology has enabled a robot to map things and to remember the layout of a home, adapt to different surfaces, adapt to different items. The main purpose is to clean the home or the environment in an efficient pattern movement. And lastly, we can say that it can dock itself to recharge its batteries. So in this figure, we can clearly see that the robot is moving in a zigzag direction, and when an obstacle is nearby, it slightly changes its direction and goes onwards. So very easily, it's identification of obstacle, turning its direction. It's all related to AI. Traveling to a new destination is not an hassle anymore. You simply have to add the destination address and using any mobile application, and you can easily reach the destination. But the question arises, how this actually works? We can say that how we are getting the exact direction, how we are getting the optimal route, how road barriers are find out, and what's the traffic condition at the moment. The simple answer to this question, we can say, is the GPS, that is the Global Positioning System, which is the satellite navigation system. So GPS basically guide us for commuting. But now we can say that AI is also incorporated in it, which give us more better result in case of specific surroundings. Using machine learning, it gives us the clearer or the visual representation of the buildings it can be identified using the edge detection methods. Moreover, other quality is to recognize and understand the different handwritten features written on the outside the home. Moreover, different AI algorithms are used to identify the exact time and the exact distance calculated considering the traffic congestions in the real time. So basically, one more important feature of this is that we can even identify the location where we want to reach. So this also enables ride-hailing applications into existence. And so whenever we want to book a cab from an application, this makes it very easier. Using virtual filters while taking our pictures or using the IDs, clicking our facial IDs while unlocking our mobile phone are the two different application areas. Basically, this is now the part of our daily life. But how does it works? Basically, what we need to know the coordinates of the facial recognition. That is our area of interest, like our X, Y, H, and Z coordinates. Our interest of features, our landmarks are our eyes, nose, lips, and the geometry of our face basically shows the geometric structure for alignment purpose. So these are the features that can be used to identify face. Moreover, face recognition method is commonly used at government facilities. It can also be used at the airports. For example, as far as I know, face recognition is commonly used at the airport for ID checks before allowing passenger to board. So face recognition is one of the important feature whenever we talk about artificial intelligence. Another application is about the chatbot. As a customer, getting the queries answered is one of the time-consuming tasks. So AI also provides the solution for this. That's the use of algorithm to train the machine to cater the customer via chatbots. So basically, it enables the machine to answer frequently asked questions and take and track the orders. So chatbot are basically the mimics of the conversational style of the customer's representative. And this is basically done through NLP, which is natural language processing. Initial chatbots were basically used to answer specific input of format, like yes/no type of questions. But now the latest chatbots are used that answer more about the complex questions, and their NLP is also enhanced, their dictionary is also enhanced so that they can answer according to customer satisfaction. In fact, if you give a bad rating to the response you get, the machine or the chatbot used to identify the mistake it made and then correct it for the next time and gives you the full customer satisfaction. When we have our hands full, we need a digital assistant to perform the task on our behalf. For example, if you are driving a car with one hand of coffee, in one hand, if you have a coffee and you want to contact your mom, then any digital assistant can access your contacts and look for the word which you are dialing, for example, mom, and dial that particular number. So normally, previously, Siri is used to help us or assist us in this regards, and but previously Siri was used, and it was used to answer very simple question. It was unable to answer very complex questions. But now the latest digital assistants are used that are able to answer the complex problems. And for this purpose, the advanced NLP, that is the natural language processing, is used, and the machine learning is used. Not only this, it can also has the ability to analyze your preferences, your schedules, and your habits. In this way, digital assistants can allow us to systemize things, organize things, and plan things for you in the form of reminder, prompts, notifications, and different kinds of schedules. After the advent of social media, provided a new narrative to the world with excessive speech of freedom. However, this brought societal evils such as cybercrime, cyberbullying, and even the hated speech. Various social media applications are using the support of AI to control these type of things and also use other features to entertain people. An AI algorithm can spot and swiftly take down the posts containing the hated speech a lot faster than human could do. Basically, one thing that used over here is the neural network of deep learning component is used. This is the main component that is used for this process. This is basically used to identify the hate words, the phrases, the comments, even the symbols that are used in different languages. Emojis are used for this purpose also, and it is also used for predictive analysis. Moreover, we can also say that whenever a user is looking for something on social media, AI also enables that the relevant contents it suggests and show it to the user. Similarly, one important feature of this that whenever you are downloading or uploading a picture, they give you suggestions of your friend for tagging purpose. So this is also an AI thing that enable us. Smart filters can also use that are AI based filters that is used to weed out the spam or unwanted messages. E-payments. Having to run to the bank for every transaction can be a hectic errand. The good part is that banks are now leveraging AI solutions to facilitate the customer to simplify the payment process. Now, payments can be done in a number of ways. You can simply download the mobile application of a particular bank and can do any type of transactions. Moreover, AI also provides the solution related to deposit the check, related to make online check processing practicable. In e-payments, concept of fraud detection can also be identified. For example, the AI can use the pattern of what's the user is buying, where the things are from bought, and which price brackets the user is spending. So if any unusual activity happens, then which doesn't fit in that particular pattern, then it will immediately respond the particular user. So fraud detection using the credit card can also be identified. There are some more examples related to AI and IoT. For example, the home security system, the smart gadgets that we are using. Smart gadgets can be used to monitor the blood pressure, monitor the heart rate, how much steps you have you counted, their count is being measured, how much water you have taken. So these type of reminders and exact notification can also be generated. Of course, the security and privacy is one of the important factors. AI algorithms are being used to provide the secured solution. And one more application is given over here is the tracking of the logistic goods. There are some advantages of using IoT which are following. The first one is the ability to access the information from anywhere, anytime, and on any device. The second one is the improved communication between the electronic devices. The third one is the transferring of the data packet over a connected network, saving time and money. And the last one is the automated tasks help to improve the quality of the business services and reducing the need for the human intervention. There are some disadvantages of IoT. As the number of devices are increasing and more information are being shared, so there is a lot of chance that the accounts can be hacked that could steal the confidential information. So this is basically increasing. Enterprises may have to deal with the massive number, even with the millions of IoT devices, and collecting and managing the data from all those devices will be challenging. And the third one is if there is a bug in a system, it's likely that every connected device can become corrupted. So since there is no standard of compatibility, so it's difficult for devices for the different manufacturers to communicate with each other. There are 5 different steps for implementing IoT. The first one is to develop a strategy, why you want it, what you want it, what's the purpose to do it. So first of all, what a company needs is to develop a strategy. The next step is to ideate and prototype. Means you have to develop use case models, you have to develop the technical documents for what the strategy, strategy or the system you want to develop. So once the documents are done, once the prototype is done, then the next step is to connect, adapt, and integrate the system. After the integration of the system, you need to analyze the data. And for example, if you want, to that everyone to turn off the lights or to turn off the switch fans when there is no one around in a room. So this is a decision making system where analysis is being done. So once all these analysis or intelligent system are being made, then finally is the implementation phase, that is to operate the system. When you need to develop an IoT-based system, then there is a technology stack. Over here, we can see that there is a hardware. For example, different kind of sensors are used, like proximity sensor, IR sensors, optical sensors. Those sensors need to be connected, related to different IoT devices. Different processors need to be connected, like you can use a MediaTek or RSL10. On the upper layer, when we talk about the software, different AI algorithms can be used. For example, if we want an intelligent system or a smart system where decision has to be made, then machine learning can be used. The further step of the machine learning is the deep learning, which is basically based on the neural network, and we can also say that neural networks are inspired by the human brains. Furthermore, if you want to where natural processing language has to be incorporated, or the voice information to be incorporated, then the NLP, which is natural language processing to be implemented. For implementing purpose, different Python libraries are used. For example, TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch, NumPy. These are different libraries that needs to be used. Next is the benefits. What are the benefits to the organization? To mention a few, for example, to monitor the overall business processor is one of the benefits to organization. It saves time and money. It generates more revenue. It enhances the employee productivity, make better decision making, and it's integrate and adapt different business models. So these are some of the benefits to their organization. AI-based IoT agents has the ability to sense, think, and act. The agent must be able to do the right thing based on the information that it has received and deliver the output or act on the output. So basically any AI based agents based on the 4 parameters, for example, performance parameter, that's basically show the uh, objective for the success of an agent. Next, it shows the environment where it is applied, what are the nearby items around that particular system, what are the inputs, that are the sensors that are used, and what are the actuators, the output parameters that are used. So I will consider 2 to 3 examples related to AI-based IoT agents. Now, let's say if we want to develop a smart surveillance system. So the performance measure for this is to provide the security. The detection, AI detection can be used to monitor the people, the moving objects, and to store the data on a cloud. The environment for this purpose, it can be used in the home, in the offices, in the streets. The sensor that are used for this purpose is the camera itself, and the actuators can be used for viewing, for monitoring, and if there is any suspicious event occur, then it will notify the particular user. Another example of these agents are the smart cars. The performance measure used for this is the safety, that we reach our destination safely. Another feature or parameter feature is to reach the destination comfortably, safely, reach the destination on time. The environment used for this purpose is the roads, the other nearby car, the pedestrian, the traffic signal, the road signs, barriers. These are the environment of that smart car. The actuator used for this purpose are the steering, or the accelerator, brakes, signal and horns, and the sensors used for this scenario are the camera, sonar, GPS, speedometer, odometer, accelerometer, engine sensors, and the keyboard. Another example for agents is about the smart vacuum cleaner. So before designing, what are the performance measure for this is to clean the room. Main purpose is to clean the room. Second, we can say to use less noise to be generated. Third, we can say to generate less power to be generated. So these are the performance measure that can be used for a smart vacuum cleaner. The environment over here is any room, any house, any office, nearby items, obstacle like a table, it can be a table, it can be a wooden floor, it can be a carpet. Different obstacles are the environments of this scenario. This actuator that are used for this purpose are the wheels, different brushes, and the vacuum extractor. And the sensor for this purpose are the camera, dirt detector, cliff sensor, bump sensor, and many more. So basically, we can say that IoT and AI is global. It's everywhere. There are a number of companies who are using this combo, that is the IoT and the AI, which are mentioned over here on the slide. For example, if I talk about the armies, this is basically, it's a security platform that is used to identify the risk and attacks and protect the critical information. It was developed in the year 2015. Similarly, C3 IoT is also a very good combination, and it's provide a complete platform that uses the big data, predictive analytics, AI, that is the artificial intelligence, IoT, and different software applications. So job market is huge whenever we talk about IoT and AI. So if you want to learn more, if you are a beginner, there are many online courses. Some courses are free, some are paid, from where you can get started. For example, you can take an online course using Coursera, using Udemy. There are different universities who are offering different courses like Introduction to Internet and Embedded Systems, and you can see over here their ratings, which is quite good, and in fact the number of students are also quite high. So you can explore these websites to get started. So before ending my presentation, I just want to show you a video related to IoT and AI. So have a look on this. Okay, that's all, and thank you from my side.
Thank you, Dr. Shahina. That was amazing. Thank you. Please wait for the Q&A session in the end. Thank you. Before we go to the next speaker, Ms. Azad will give all the audience a conclusion in Bahasa Indonesia, in Indonesian language. So, Ms. Azad, go.
Oke, thank you Miss Anisya, thank you Dr. Saina. Oke, jadi beliau Dr. Sahina Nur dari Pakistan menjelaskan tentang IoT dan AI dalam teknologi modern. Nah, untuk area aplikasi untuk AI dan IoT ini adalah untuk vacuum cleaner seperti yang dilihatkan di video tadi, untuk deteksi wajah, chatbot, dan asisten digital. Ada juga untuk media sosial seperti Instagram, Twitter, dan yang lain-lain. Ada juga untuk e-payment yang bisa melakukan e-wallet, misalkan kalau di Indonesia mungkin semisal OVO, GoPay, Shopee Pay, Dana, dan yang lain-lain juga. Terus bisa menggunakan credit card, debit, dan lain-lain. Sedangkan untuk sistem keamanan rumah seperti kesehatan, keamanan, dan hal-hal yang menyangkut dengan hal-hal keamanan rumah. Sedangkan untuk kekurangan IoT di sini adalah penumpukan teknologi seperti hardware, terminologi AI, itu saja. Terus untuk implementasi IoT itu untuk pengembangan teknologi, untuk prototipe, sistem koneksi, adaptasi, dan integrasi, analisis data, dan pengoperasian. Sedangkan manfaat untuk perusahaan adalah memonitor proses bisnis, mengubah pengalaman pelanggan, hemat waktu dan uang, meningkatkan produktivitas karyawan, untuk membuat keputusan bisnis dengan baik, model integrasi, adaptasi bisnis. Nah, sedangkan IoT agent yang berbasis AI, di sini ada smart camera, ada smart car, ada smart vacuum cleaner, canvas. Oh maaf, untuk perusahaan yang menggunakan ini adalah Canvas, Destil, Falconry, dan yang lain-lain seperti yang ditunjukkan di dalam PPT tadi. Sedangkan untuk cakupan AI dan IoT ada Armis, Amazon, dan Auguri. Itu saja. Thank you, Miss Anissa. You can continue for the next speakers.
Thank you, Miss Azada. Okay, before we go to the next speakers, I want to tell you all, if you guys have any question, you can write down in the chat room so we can collect the question and ask them later in the Q&A session. And in the Q&A session, we also going to let you ask the professor directly. So you can just raise your hand later, and we can ask you to unmute your microphone and turn on your video so that you can ask the professor directly. Okay, so for the next speaker, we have Professor Liu Xiao Jin from Fuzhou Polytechnic, from Alibaba Big Data. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a miscommunication. So after we have Mr. Mampu. So I'm sorry. We have Mr. Mampuono M.Kom, Vice Chairman of ATIC, Smart Indonesian Teacherpreneur Association, and he is also the General Secretary of IGVIM, Indonesian Teacher Association from 2016 to 2020, and founder and honor council of IGVIM Jateng. So, Mr. Mampuono.
Yeah, Mbak Nisa, can you hear my voice?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yeah, I'm sorry because I'm still driving and I have to stop for a moment. And of course, thank you very much for inviting me as one of the resource person in this international webinar. The Honorable Dr. Joseph Magister Computer, Director of STEKOM University, also the head of the IGVIM Industrial Strategic Partnership. Then the Honorable Dr. Lili Nurlaini, MED, the Supervisory Board of IGVIM, and then the former attaché of the Indonesian Embassy to Philippines, and Professor Dr. Pavel Krömer, Professor Department of Computer Science, VSB Technical University of Ostrava, Czech Republic. Then the Honorable Dr. Shahina Noor, I call her as Mbak Noor, Assistant Professor Computer Engineering Department, Czech University. And the last is the Honorable Professor Liu Xiao Jin, Alibaba Big Data School of Fuzhou Polytechnic, China. And of course, all the participants of this international webinar about AI and IoT, or both of the combination of the two. And my friends from Link B that I invited into this seminar from all over the world, support from American continent, African, then also Europe and Asia, that I cannot mention one by one. But thank you that it is very good opportunity. I will try to share information that may be useful for us. That is about IoT, or Internet of Things, and AI. And I will share the presentation. Okay. Yep, this is it. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, this is AI and IoT, a powerful combination. That's the title of my presentation. Firstly, everything about IoT has been explained by the first two speakers, I think, and everything has been understood very well. That the Internet of Things describes the network of physical objects or things that is embedded with sensors, software, and other technologies for the purpose of connecting and exchanging data with other devices and systems over the Internet. And of course, these devices range from our ordinary household, like, for instance, mirror, watch, or maybe air conditioner, refrigerator, or even toilet. That's very ordinary object in our house, to the sophisticated industrial tools. With more than 7 billion connected to the IoT devices today, experts are expecting the number to grow to 10 billion by 2020 up to 2025, around 22 billion. All right, try to discuss a little about the Internet of Things character or characteristic. We can see here the picture. Okay, from the ecosystem, the community contact, or Internet of Everything, that actually today we are practicing to use that. And then the connectivity, maybe right now in Indonesia, we use the what's so called Wi-Fi, or maybe wireless network in 4G, or maybe support still in 3G. But to have a webinar like this, maybe 4G or 5G is more comfortable. And then things about sensors, about devices, and then data, and then communications or data flows, and intelligence or smart or analytic. And the last is action, that is the decision or automation that happens in Internet of Things. Well, if we see this picture, so we have IoT device. You can see here everything around us, like our mobile phones, maybe our light, television, or everything that is connected to Internet. And then there is the connectivity, and then the software that the application as the third party that connect everything. Then go to the next. Here we can see the number of device connection worldwide. You can see that the red diagram here is the device that connected using IoT, and then the white or the clear one is not connected by Internet or non-IoT device. We can see that the growth of the IoT device, Internet of Things device, slightly bit higher and faster, or maybe in the future, finally, everything will be connected to Internet. So there's none of the devices that not connected to each other using Internet. All right, I captured this as around several days ago. I create a group of English learner all over the world, that the members is more than 60, coming from 4 continents. invited because we are connected in Linkbee. That's an application that we can call randomly, and also we can be called randomly, and we can communicate in any language that we want to practice. Maybe English, Arabic, Chinese, Indonesian, maybe Korean, Japanese, etc. So we also can be connected in social media, but in virtual reality, everything connected, and we can use our headset. Seems that we are there, we are gathering there, we have a chat there, we have our three-dimensional avatar. That seems that we live there, and the avatar is our medium to connect to each other. It seems that we are the gene, and then the human being is the avatar in this virtual reality, which is so immersive environment. Then by using this Internet of Things, there are many applications that is supported by Internet of Things, and also AI or artificial intelligence. I try to ease every learners of English to use method running drama. Mostly this is in Indonesia, but in English I call that is ET viral. That is English thought supported by virtual reality with the 7 steps. Number one is think in English or think in the target language. Number 2 is make as many as mistakes you can, but after that you can confirm your mistake with a Google Assistant or a Google Translate to correct your faults or mistakes in learning. And then repeat after the native speaker as many as precisely as possible. This is something that can be supported very much by actually several useful application. And okay, really, if we use that, we can do what so-called repeating after the native speakers, and then it can make our communication in native speaker very fluently. Okay, go to the next, that is going out or escaping from our native atmosphere. Again, we use Internet of Things. We can use virtual reality or non-virtual reality, social media that I've told you. Then, okay, by using text to speech and speech to text, we do what so-called a rolling. That is the method that I found. That is oral reading and oral writing literacy. Why? At the same time we are speaking, we are producing writing. So we write using our mouth. And at the same time, we are listening, we are reading. Why? Because every book, thousands of pages, 10,000 of pages of book can be entered into a smart machine, then the machine will read everything with the prosody. Prosody is the accent that is like human being. It's not robot accent, but it's human being robot. I mean, human being accent. That's very cool. And we have to record and also record our voice and also our videos, so that after that we can check using a smart application that can check our fault in our voice, something like that. And then seven, using the application to support our grammar, vocabularies, and other things that, okay, by doing that, we can enhance our proficiency in English or other languages. All right, this is, I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, especially from Indonesia, that we have an organization, this is a moral movement, that is a Teacherpreneur Association, or Indonesian Teacherpreneur Association, and Smart Indonesian Teachers Association, or ATIC. That's the website. Provide the something that is maybe different from other organizations, because in our membership card, we just write down name, and then also the place or the residency or municipality we're coming from, and our province, just like that. But remember, we have the QR code. In the QR code, by scanning that, we know our the owner of the card, if we see in their portfolio, achievement, business, everything that can be dynamically, inputted into our system. So this ATIC, Asosiasi Teacherpreneur Indonesia Cerdas, I intensely write this in Bahasa Indonesia so that everybody here can understand that this gerakan moral supporting the smartness of teachers, that they have been scholar, they're smart, but if they still live below the standard, I think it's very poor. So we help each other to enhance the prosperity of life of them. It's like that. So guru sekolah, guru ekskul, guru kursus, guru bimbel, guru les, guru ngaji, guru silat, guru tenaga dalam, sampai guru besar, lecturer, teacher trainer, dean, rector, tutor, instructor, pamong, etc. can join this organization. Okay, what about IoT at school? Sorry. Maybe the speaker before, the two speakers tend to depict the IoT in general, but I try to portray more specific thing, that is IoT at school. You know that IoT is everything around us in school. It means that a better connected and more collaborative future of education. IoT devices that's used at school in education give students better access to everything from learning materials to communication channels, and they give teachers the ability
Mr.
to
Mampuono.
measure student learning progress in real time.
Mr. Mampuono, hello.
Yeah. Yeah, Mbak. Hello. All right. Yeah, I just give a little example about using this like digital library and literacy enhancement using Eroli or metode menemu baling, penulis dengan mulut dan membaca dengan telinga, or maybe using the A-class LCMS in Pesona Edu, or going to the artificial intelligence. Everybody knows that today everything are smart, and by having the artificial intelligence installed in everything around us, everything, the objects like human being, it can learn, it can connect to each other, it even can have something what so-called object-to-object connectivity. Then the use of AI, I can explain here. That is, AI refers to computational tools that can substitute for human intelligence the performance of certain tasks. AI make it possible for machine to learn from experience, adjust the new inputs, and perform human-like tasks. So this machine or AI can act like human brain, something like that. AI lives everywhere, now from researchers' labs to your living room. AI has taken jobs from human already and will continue to do so as it becomes more widely adopted and effective. Yeah, I think, and then go to the last of our discussion is the AI and IoT blending, what it is and why it matters. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, IoT, Internet of Things, connects the devices, and AI takes decision. That's the conclusion. So both the communication, both the device or the things which is connected to each other, which is combined, it will be powerful. And then artificial intelligence makes IoT smarter and more efficient. Why? The goal of applying AI to IoT system is effectively placing additional layer of intelligence across the entire IoT stack, from infrastructure all the way to application. While IoT
Mr.
focuses
Mampu,
on network of sensors that generate data, AI enables the generation of knowledge and predictability using the valuable data
Pak
that is
Mampu,
in. Ya, Mbak, gimana? Mau
tiga menit lagi, Prof.
Oke, ya. Suara saya masih bisa diterima ya, Mas?
Ya.
Masih jelas nggak?
Ya,
Oke.
ya.
Yeah, I want to have a discussion about why are AI and IoT perfect partners for growth. We can see the, on the left side, the pictures here. We can see the, that technology is developing, its growth. That we can see that virtual reality is 12%, IoT is 23%, and AI or machine learning is 40%. So the three things is dominated by AI. So technologies with the biggest impact on business, which involving virtual reality, IoT, and AI has been very great things that make the human being development, thing like that. We can see also technologies with the biggest impact on society. We can also see AI and or machine learning placed or dominate the others, dominate the IoT and virtual reality. And for motivation behind the use of new technologies, 70% of respondents cited the need to increase efficiency and productivity, while 62% said competitive differentiation and 48% said employer or customer demand. So when we see here, the most popular technologies currently using IoT 67%, AI is still 60%, in edge computing, the ordinary computing is just 37%. It means that AI in IoT something that is growing bigger and bigger. And the combination of both this thing, we can see on the right hand of this presentation, IoT, which is augmented and enhanced by machine learning, is effectively multiplying the impact and benefit. For what? To those businesses who are adopting this complementary technology. In fact, AI is integral element for success in today's IoT-based digital ecosystem, and combining IoT with rapidly advancing AI technologies can create smart machines that simulate intelligent behavior to make well-informed decisions with little or no human intervention.
Pak Mampu.
Then ini kurang satu slide lagi, Mbak. The result is an acceleration in innovation, which can significantly boost productivity in the organization involved. Little wonder then that the IoT and AI markets are developing rapidly and in tandem. So it's like spouse. IoT and AI, it's like husband and wife, something like that. And then this is everything which is smart in our daily life. And so the question is like this: do you know about AIoT? AIoT is the the children of a marriage between AI and IoT, like that. So don't be left behind, and terima kasih. Saya kira begitu, Mbak. Saya kira begitu, Bapak Ibu sekalian. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih Pak Mampu. Thank you so much Pak Mampu. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sebelumnya ada kabar kurang mengenakan, yaitu di Kabupaten Malang bagian selatan telah terjadi gempa dengan magnitudo 6,7 skala Richter. Kita doakan semoga yang berada di Malang baik-baik saja, dilindungi, sehat-sehat saja, dilindungi kesehatannya, tidak ada korban satu apapun. So ya, semoga kita doakan semoga baik-baik saja. So there's a breaking news that in Malang in West Java, Indonesia, that has been a gempa.
Okay, thank you, Kanisa. I will handle it. Okay, so now we will move to the next speaker. She is from China. Professor Liu Xiao Jin, Alibaba Big Data School of Fuzhou, Polytechnic, China. Professor Liu, are you standby here?
Hello, everyone. I'm the interpreter. I would like to introduce.
Okay.
See, nice to see you again.
Yes.
This afternoon, we are very pleased and honored to be invited to give this lecture. First of all, I would like to introduce the speaker this afternoon, Professor Liu Xiao Jin from Alibaba Big Data School of our Fuzhou Polytechnic.
大家好。又关掉了。好。好，大家
Okay, you may continue.
不能救援这一边吗？
可以，那你坐。Because barrier.
Yeah, it's okay.
We'll use it together.
Yeah.
First of all, we would like to share PPT.
Yes.
先分享。
那个视频哪个？
有，但还没打开。你看一下，是在这个对吧？这个，好的。
智慧城市的往事。
So can you see the PPT?
Yes, selamat pagi.
Yeah.
You can, yes.
Okay, so please. Okay.
好，那我就开始我这边的介绍了。
Okay, let's begin.
首先呢，我先简单的做一个自我介绍。我呢来自福州职业技术学院。阿里巴巴大数据学院。
First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I'm from Alibaba Big Data of Fuzhou Polytechnic.
我的名字叫刘少卿。
My name is Liu Xiao Jin.
系统分析师。
I'm the assistant analyst.
那我今天呢做这个介绍的一个目的呢，主要是基于下面这样的一个背景。
I would like to introduce the background of today's lecture.
就是说，因为随着我们现在科技的发展，很多新的名词层出不穷。
As the development of our new technology, there appears lots of new IT words.
这些呢名词的话，有很多它们之间是有相关性的、相似性的。
There are lots of connection and relation among these new words.
我们日常生活当中，如果不经思考的话，也都能够用一两下。
And most of the time, we'll use some of it unsensibly.
但是呢，如果深究的话，可能我们就对这几个概念就很容易混淆了。
But if we want to think in depth about these new words, we may have some complication, misconception of these new words. So I would like to talk about these words.
比如说我们现在用的人工智能、机器学习、深度学习、大数据，还有数据挖掘这些词。
And such as the AI, machine learning, in-depth learning, big data analysis, and data mining, these words we have some confusion of it.
再比如，我们经常说的人工智能，为什么不能叫人工智慧？
And another example, such as AI intelligence, why it's different from smart?
智慧城市为什么不能叫做智能城市？
So why the smart city cannot be called smart intelligent city?
还有我们前面呢，数据这个词已经用了很多年了，为什么还要再来一个大数据？
We have already used data for many years. Why there appear another new word, big data?
然后再比如跨界和跨界打击。
And about the cross-border and cross-border combat.
我们经常听到有人说，我一个团队当中有计算机的，有经济的，那这是不是一个跨界团队？
And we often hear that someone will say, and in his team, there are business people and IT people. Is this the team of cross-border?
还有我们说的降维打击、升维打击。
And about the dimensionality reduction strike and the dimensionality strike.
还有经常提到的互联网、移动互联网，还有物联网、社交网这几个网，它们有哪一些不一样的地方？
And what's the difference between the internet, mobile internet, IoT, and social networking?
这是基本概念了。然后呢，我们在生活当中也会经常碰到类似这样的事情，就是说我呢，一个养鱼场，睡了一觉起来，发现鱼全死了。
And in our daily life, we often meet this kind of tragedy, just like over one night, and maybe more than 100,000 kilos of fish died overnight.
从我们作为专业的角度，有没有办法提出更好的解决方案呢？
So from our profession, can we find any solution to this kind of tragedy?
所以呢，基于这样的一个目的呢，我想今天我给大家介绍的主要是有2个方面的内容。
So from this aspect of starting point, I'd like to talk from the 2 tasks.
那我呢，等会儿就从一个叫智慧小镇的这个案例开始介绍这个案例当中相关的一些概念。
So I'll start from introduction of a smart town. It's a video. Then I'll talk from that video.
然后呢，基于这个案例，我进一步去延伸，跟我们思考我们身边当中有关的 IoT 和 AI 的相关概念。
Okay, then extending from the case of smart town, I'll talk about the concepts related to IoT, AI, and think about the distinct relationships among their trends, chances, and challenges.
然后呢，我们进一步考虑这些概念、这些理念对我们生活当中有哪一些变化，带来哪些机遇和挑战，以及呢这些概念之间是怎样的一种差别和一种联系。
Then I'll talk detailed about the challenges, chances, and trends it brings to us, and what's the connection between them.
好，那我针对这个问题呢，我们稍等再介绍。我们先来看一下这么一个智慧小镇的一个视频。
So we'll watch the video first. 需要直接。
不能跳过去吧？可能不一定链接能够那个。
能不能你？
不一定行。
那就直接。I'll share another video. A moment, please.
可以放大了，双击就可以放大。
Can you see the video?
和精神。今天我们提到智慧城市这个词，往往都说这是 IBM 提出的智慧地球和智慧城市的概念。
Smart city
可是最早了解智慧城市，其实并不是由 IBM 提出来的，是在10年前，当时的惠普公司选了一任新的 CEO， 这位 CEO 是惠普历史上第一位女性的 CEO。当然，他已经离开了惠普公司 CEO 的位置，但是他最近宣布要参加美国总统竞选，是这么一位厉害的女性。在10年前，曾经由惠普公司做过一个片子，这个片子的名字叫做 Smart Town 智慧的小镇。我给大家回忆一下这部片子里播放的内容。在一个美丽的小镇里，有一位老太太，她正在厨房里忙着为她的家人来制作一些早餐和菜肴。突然，她的心脏病发作，她立刻倒在了地上。这个时候，她的手腕上跟我一样的这么一个腕带开始出现红色小灯报警。这个数据和信息，她的心跳的记录立刻被通过无线网络传输到了小镇的医疗救护站。于是很快，救护车来了。当救护人员来到厨房，把老太太抬上担架运送的时候，救护人员很方便的从她随身携带的这么一个智能腕带里读取了老太太所有的病历信息和最次发病时当时所记录的所有数据。于是老太太被。
So she was rescued. Okay, now let's go back.
Mm-hmm. 好，那前面这个整个案例过程呢，我想如果我用一张图把它展现出来，那整个智慧小镇呢就如下面这张图了。
So if I want to explain the structure of that smart town, so I maybe can explain it by the structure chart.
好，那在这张图上面呢，我们可以简单的来看一下，这里边有哪一些目前是比较热的一些词。
We can find some popular words in this chart.
这一些实际上就是我们常说的互联网。
Actually, this seems like a cloud. It's actually the network.
稍等一下，鼠标看不见了。不是很美。好，这一部分，如果呢我把这一部分加上去完以后，实际上这个圈就是我们说的比较多的云。
And if we add the server, actually is what we usually call the cloud.
然后呢，如果加上这一部分，大家可以看一下，这个大圈的话，那就是我们常说的移动互联网了。
So if we add the phone, maybe we can call it mobile internet.
然后呢，如果把这一圈加上去，就是我们这次会议主题里边的一个 IoT 了，互联网了。
And if we add the wearable device, so maybe we can call the popular word IoT.
那如果呢，我把这一圈加上去的话，看错了。如果把这一圈加上的话，那实际上呢，就是整个过程，整个就是一个人工智能的一个应用。那这整圈实际上就可以看作是一个人工智能。
So if we conclude everything in this chart, maybe we can call it AI.
然后呢，我们来看一下这张图怎么样反映了我们整个智慧小镇的一个过程。
So let's see in detail how this chart can present us the reason of the smart town.
首先，这个穿戴设备，它能够采集老人身上的一些数据。
First of all, about the wearable device, it can collect the data, the information of the elder.
这些数据呢，通过短距离的通信跟手机连，再通过手机由互联网传送到云上的服务器上。
So through the short distance communication, the data was sent to phone, and through phone, the data was sent to the server.
那服务器上呢，接到这种异常信息的话，它就会立即把这信息通过互联网转发给相关的人，比如说家人，比如说医护人员。
So if the server collects any warning or uncommon information, it would directly send this information to the family member's phone or the healthcare worker's phone.
那医院这边呢，接到这些信息完以后呢，它就可以立即的采取行动，回过头来就是救助这个老人。
So once the hospital got this information, got this warning, they will set up right away.
那这个呢就是我们整个智慧小镇的一个简单的过程了。好，那大家可以考虑一下，在这张图当中，我们已经介绍了一些基础的概念了。但是呢，我们人工智能在哪里呢？机器学习在哪里呢？
So after we have known about the chart, the smart town chart, so can you find where is the artificial intelligence? Where is the machine learning?
好，那这个呢，我们稍后继续。
So after that, we'll find the answer.
好，从呢前面的这个案例当中，我们可以知道，通过这个设备的连接，我们呢能够及时的对老人突发疾病进行报警。
So by that chart, we find that through the connection of different devices, we can easily find the condition of the elder people.
那医院呢可以及时的做出救助的响应。
And the hospital can take out in time settlement.
好，那我们再进一步大家考虑一下，如果在医院救助老人的路上，救护车遇上堵车怎么办？
So let's think further. Let's think another question. What if there is a traffic jam on the way for the ambulance?
或者，如果这个小镇太偏僻了，医护人员赶过去要花很多时间，那又怎么办？
And what if the town is quite far away from the hospital and it would take quite long time for the healthcare provider to reach the place? What should we do?
那如果我们站在专业的角度，我们能给出什么样的解决方案来帮助解决这些问题呢？
So who can help you to solve these problems? Shall we solve any problems from our profession?
我想大家比较容易想到的，或者也经常看到的，就是电影上，当救护车被车堵住的时候，大量的司机主动让道，让救护车通过。
And we may often see this kind of occasion on movie or TV that once the ambulance is tracked, so we may hope that other cars, other vehicles can give way to ambulance.
但是我想说，这种解决方案只能是靠运气了。
But I would like to say that it can only plead for good luck.
那如果我们站在专业的角度，现在讲的比较热的一个就是一种智慧交通。
But from our profession, I would like to say that we may solve this problem from the smart traffic.
它就是说能够让你通过系统会提醒你哪些路没有堵，让你选择不堵的路赶到医院。
Under the smart traffic, it will tell us that which way is the fastest, which way there is no traffic jam.
但是这种问题，这种解决方案就100%的保险了吗？
And after that, is it 100% safe to reach the hospital?
那大家不妨想一想，如果说医院刚好在这个位置，而这些深颜色的都是车堵得很厉害的，那又怎么办？
And suppose the hospital is in the black point, and around it there are lots of traffic jams. What should we do?
所以这种方案也不一定100%保险。
So it's still not 100% safe.
那还有没有什么别的办法呢？
Any other way?
好，我们不妨设想一下，大家看一下，假设100年后的某一天，刚好你正在做早餐，这时候呢，一辆救护车停在你的家门口，一个护士告诉你，1天后你会心脏病发作，所以呢，他们特地来把你接到医院，以确保你一旦发作能得到及时救治。
And let's think about, imagine solution X. Maybe one day in 100 years, you are making breakfast in your kitchen, an ambulance stopped in front of your house, and the nurse told you that you will have a heart attack in one day. So they take you to the hospital to ensure that you are treated immediately.
请问你会有何感想？
How do you feel?
至少我想前面堵车的问题可以解决了，路程遥远的问题可以解决了。
At least we can solve the problem of meeting the traffic jam. At least we can solve the problem of taking a long time to the hospital.
唯一可能的就是你对这种突然来的陌生人会有防备心理而已。
But surely there will be once possible that you will be aware of the suddenly coming of the nurse.
好，那我们再来看一下。那现在假设是这种情况下，那我原来前面的那张图该做如何改进呢？
And now let's suppose we have the new way. So what can we make adjust to that prior chart?
然后再对比一下，上面这一张图呢，就是按照刚才新的这种情况下做的。再对比一下，有哪些地方不一样呢？
Can you find any difference between the prior one and the latter one?
然后它又是如何对堵车问题起到帮助呢？
And is there any help for the problem of traffic jam?
好，我们呢简单也看一下它的整个过程是这样子的。
Okay, let's go to the detail of how it works.
同样是这老人心脏病发作。
And for the same occasion, the elder woman fell down because of the heart disease.
哦，不是，不好意思。
Oh, sorry.
就是说老人呢，就是说在日常生活当中，我这个穿戴设备在持续的采集他的数据，这些体征数据。
Okay, let's start from the old woman that she still wear the device, the e-watch.
数据呢同样送到这个服务器上。
And the data, the information of the watch still sent to the server.
跟前面不一样的地方，我在这个服务器上，这时候有很多的专家 在持续的分析着这些数据。
I make a small change that for the server, I add some doctor and data miner.
然后它根据历史的数据，就能够分析出心脏病发作前一天可能各种体征数据特征。
So for the doctor and the data miner, they will find some warning data one day before the heart attack.
然后呢，他通过这种呢，就可以事先把这些预警信息发给相关的医院或者他的家属。
So the server will send this warning to the maybe family members or the healthcare or hospital.
好，然后呢，医院就可以根据这个预测的情况，提前做出一些预案。
So the hospital can take out some help for this condition.
而不是像前面那样，等到老人心脏病发作了，然后才开始采取紧急措施。
So it can give out measures. It can take out measures beforehand.
这实际上就是我们平时说的，就说治未病，还没有生病的时候就给人家治病了。
So this is what we often call to cure people before they have had that disease.
好，大家看一下，从这两张图当中，它们的运作机制过程，大家能看出我们这里所说的人工智能跟机器学习有什么区别了吗？
So from that two chart, can you find out the difference between AI and machine study?
好，我们来看一下，那这两者之间的区别在哪里呢？我们先来说一下人工智能。
So for that question, we will find the answer from, first of all, the characteristic of AI.
那人工智能呢，按照我们通俗的去理解它，我觉得它有3个特征。
So from my own view of understanding, artificial has 3 characteristics.
第一个，它是连接。
First one is about connection.
这个连接呢，包括人与物联。
The first one is connection between people to thing.
就像这个这样，人跟物之间进行关联。
Just like in the chart, it connection people to the device.
然后呢，物和物联，不同的设备之间的这种关联。
And second is connection between things to things, just like mobiles to servers.
然后呢是物和人进行关联。
The third one is people to people.
最后呢，实现人与人之间的跨时空的连接。
And last, we can connect people to people over space.
好，然后呢，第二个，它是一种感知。
Second one, the second characteristic is a kind of sense.
通过这种感知，他就说能够通过这个感知，就是能够了解外部世界的一些现象。
So it can collect the phenomenon of all the things.
那这整个过程呢，实际上是通过对数据的采集、传输、存储、应用来实现的这种感知。
All this kind of sense is through by collect all the data or the information.
而这种数据实际上就是已经超过我们以前所说的传统的数据。
And this kind of perception has already overpassed the traditional data.
这实际上也就是我们这几年最热的一个词——大数据。
So this kind of information, we can call it big data.
这中间呢，可能有涉及到传统的数据，也可能图片，也可能文字等这一些。
This kind of big data may conclude some chart information, pictures, all of that kind, etc.
好，它的第3个特征呢，就是反应。前面呢，在通过连接， 通过感知，那感知之后我就要做出反应。
And the third characteristic is about response. And for the first two, one is about connection. The second one is about perception. So after the connection, after the perception, the third one, it should be response.
那就是让机器或者让系统模仿人的思维、人的方式，对外界的刺激做出反应。
So according to given knowledge and rules, that the machine to make decisions and put into action in a manner similar to human thinking mode.
好，那实际上呢，从这来看，就是人工智能最主要的3个特征。
So just now we talk about the 3 main characteristics of artificial intelligence.
那实际上呢，智慧小镇这个案例当中，它就是一个人工智能的一个应用，但是它只是一个简单的刺激反应型的人工智能体。
In the case of smart town, it's just a simple stimulus response case, which is an artificial intelligent body. It's just a simple one.
那这种呢，就是哪怕有1000次、10000次的这种刺激，它的反应都是简单的刺激反应，不会有所进步。
So under this kind of mode, even if it is 1,000 times or even 10,000 times, this kind of artificial intelligence will not improve.
那如果说会进步的人工智能体又是什么样子的呢？
Can we find any kind of artificial intelligence can be improved?
好，大家看一下这个。如果说像我们这后面改进的这个，如果我的系统能够采集数据、分析数据，然后根据数据反应的特征，对不一样的，就是说不一样的特征做出不一样的反应，那么这实际上就是一个进化后的了。
进步的这种。
对。
Okay, so if we can extract the rules and the information of the heart attack based on the characteristic of the authors of multiple heart attack, so as to automatically send out early warnings to the hospitals and the families of the patients, then it can be a kind of improved artificial intelligence.
这种系统呢，可能在刚开始的时候，它预测会出错，但是随着它接触的病人越来越多，它会预测越来越精确，这就是进步。
At the beginning, maybe the machine study will make some mistake because maybe some actually not heart disease, he will mistaken it will be a heart disease. But after some time, after lots of information, we can call it big data. After that, it can make very exact decision.
所以呢，经过这个对比，我觉得机器学习简单可以这样子理解，就是会自己学习的人工智能体。简单讲，就是在人工智能3个基础特征的基础上，加了一个学习的特征。
So after that, we can make a conclusion that what is machine study? Actually, it's a kind of artificial intelligence and with a learning feature.
好，那到这呢，基本上人工智能、机器学习，我想我们应该有一个简单的认识了。
So here we may have a common understanding of what is artificial intelligence, what is machine study.
好，那我们往下考虑一下，那这一种呢，就是这样的一个应用，还会给我们的生活带来哪一些的变化呢？
So let's think one more question. Under this kind of development, what change will the machine study bring to us in the future?
好，那从这张图当中能看出跨界竞争吗？
So from the following chart, can you find any of the competition of cross-border?
好，那我们接下来大家看一下。首先呢， 我们考虑一下医院的职责是什么呢？
First of all, let's think about what's the responsibility of the hospital.
很显然，我们现在想到的都是救死。
Obviously, it's to rescue the wounded people.
好，那大家考虑一下，如果医院有了这个平台网以后，医院还能做什么呢？
So, if the hospital have this kind of platform, what can the hospital do?
大家看一下，医院这时候如果借助这个平台，就可以提早给这些老人提供一些养生的建议，老人在家可以得到很好的服务。医院如果进军这几个行业，那这些企业能够竞争得过医院吗？
Okay, excuse me, Mampuono, can you turn off your, yeah, okay, thank you. And let's think further that if the hospital can enter the healthcare industry, the LD care industry, the nursing industry, can companies in this industry ever compete?
因为对医院来说，如果说对这些老人的所有养生建议、护理全部采用免费的话，那么这些行业的企业跟医院还有没有竞争的能力？
Because suppose that the hospital on this platform can offer the old people the nursing service, the healthcare service. Can that service of this industry, can the nursing industry, the healthcare industry compete over hospital?
因为这些收费是养生行业、养老行业、护理行业企业最主要的一个收入来源。
Because for those nursing industry, healthcare industry, their pay is their main economy input.
但是对医院来说不是。
But for the hospital, it may not.
好，那么医院通过免费的方式就可以把这些行业全部达到。
So the hospital, if they can master this kind of platform, it can easily overbeat these kind of industries.
这实际上就是一种降维打击。
Actually, this is a kind of dimension reduction.
对医院来说，他把利润这个维度拿走、抽走，跟这些行业进行竞争。
For the hospitals, they can give this interest to the old people, then they can overbeat these industries.
所以呢，这就是一个降维打击的过程。
So it's a kind of dimensionality reduction compete.
当然，在降维打击的同时，实际上往往伴随着升维的动作。
Surely, during the dimensionality reduction compete process, and they often contain a kind of dimensionality.
那也就是说，他要具备这些竞争对手所没有的能力，就是增加新的维度。
So what is dimensionality? Surely it's a kind of, they master a kind of technology skill that other people don't have.
比如说这里的掌握这个平台，实际上就是一种升维。
Just like the hospital to master this kind of technology.
Okay, I'm sorry, Professor.
Okay.
Yes, we have 3 minutes again.
What? Pardon?
Okay, we have 3 minutes again for your presentation.
For 3 minutes left, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
3分钟。OK。没了。没声音。好像窗口被关掉。
这个被关掉了是吗？ PPT 并没有。
再打开一遍吧，不是这个，这个。
这在哪？
好，没事，那直接跳到最后吧。
对，直接跳到最后吧，反正没时间了。
跳到这里吧。
这里是吧？是吧？
嗯。好，那就是说，通过前面的这个对比呢，通过前面这个对比，实际上我们可以知道，智慧实际上是在人工智能的基础上多了一个创新。
And so after just now, what we just talked about, we find that what is smart actually is based on artificial intelligence, has one more feature, it's innovation.
就是像前面说的，创造出一个新的维度。
Something like innovate a new dimension.
那实际上呢，是在人工智能的基础上，它提供了一个生态，一个创新的生态。
Actually, it's create a new environment.
所以呢，基于这，我们一般呢叫智能家居，但不能叫智慧家居。
So therefore, we can call smart homes, smart device, but not intelligent home.
因为后者有创新的环境，前者没有。
Because the latter one has some kind of innovation.
好，那按照类似的思路，我们前面提到的这个问题，也可以用智慧养殖来解决。
So for the prior question about the fishing farm, we can find a solution that we can use smart fishing farm.
最后我们来看一下，我觉得人工智能也好，跟 AI 也好，它们呢是一种解决方案。
So for the conclusion, I would like to say that no matter the artificial intelligence or the Internet of Things, it's actually a solution.
然后呢，是管理理念和这些技术的结合。
It's a comprehensive application of management concepts and technologies.
而不仅仅是技术。
But it's not only a kind of technology.
好，那我想主要介绍。从总的来看的话，我觉得这几个之间关系是这样 ：IoT 是身体，数据是学业 ，AI 是大脑。
So I make it into a kind of saying that IoT is the body, data is the blood, and AI is the brain.
好，那最後呢，我想留一個念想，大家考慮一下。
And last, I would like to make a question that suppose 100 years later, one day you're making breakfast, an ambulance stopping, and nurse say that you have a
就是說這個我們前面碰到過了。好，那下面這個類似的場景
I train it to another situation is a nurse come out and say you have a mental illness and kill someone, so they will take you to the police station. How do you feel?
好，那我這邊呢，主要介紹的就是這樣子了。
Okay. Do you have the same feeling? Okay, that's all about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor Liu Xiao Jin. So, Ms. Azet is going to give you guys the quick conclusion in the Indonesian language.
Okay, thank you, Miss Anissa. Jadi dari semua analogi atau semua cerita yang disampaikan oleh beliau tadi ya, yang digambar tadi tentang antara AI dan machine study itu karakteristiknya itu ada perbedaannya ada 3. Yang pertama di koneksi, terus yang kedua di persepsi, dan yang terakhir ada di respon. Yang pertama itu koneksi menggunakan P2T, T2T, dan people to people atau P2T. Sedangkan yang kedua itu persepsi. Jadi berdasarkan data yang didapatkan, terus transfer data, lalu penyimpanan dan aplikasian atau pengaplikasiannya itu seperti apa kayak gitu. Dan yang terakhir itu ada respon, seperti memberi pengetahuan dan aturan, terus membuat keputusan, lalu melakukan aksi sesuai dengan mode berpikir atau kebiasaannya manusia gitu. Sedangkan untuk karakteristik dari AI sendiri itu di mesin atau di smartwatch yang dilihatkan di presentasi tadi itu improvisasi dari AI terhadap pasien dan keluarga pasien. Terus untuk dari kasus tadi sepertinya nggak perlu nggak perlu dijelaskan ya untuk kasusnya karena udah sangat jelas sekali. Jadi pemahaman dari AI dan IoT di sini ini merupakan sebuah solusi, bukan sebuah teknologi yang baru. Dan maaf. Dan di sini IoT sebagai bodinya, data sebagai darahnya, dan AI sebagai brand. Kalau diibaratkan sebagai manusia gitu ya. Jadi untuk bodinya itu IoT, untuk darahnya itu data, dan untuk otaknya itu AI. Gitu. Thank you, Miss Anissa. You can continue. Okay, thank you. And now we move to next speaker. He is from Czech Republic. He is Professor Dr. Pavel Krömer, Professor Department of Computer Science, VSB Technical University of Ostrava. Professor, hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon from here. Yeah, what time is it now? What time is it on your place?
I'm still in the morning. 11 minutes past 10 in the morning.
Oh. Okay, so now are you ready to get your presentation?
Yes,
you
I
can
will
start
share
your presentation.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Okay, can you see it?
Yes, I can see.
Good. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm happy to participate at this event. First, let me introduce myself a little bit and my institute. So my name is Pavel Krömer, and I'm with the VSB Technical University of Ostrava, that is in the Czech Republic. For those of you who don't know the place, so it is located right in the geographical center of Europe. We are quite an industrial region, very well connected to major capitals around, that is Prague and Vienna, and it is known as a city of industry, culture, sport, and education. This is just a little overview of our campus. The university has 7 faculties, around 12,000 students, and we are happy to be the major technical education institution in our region. From an IoT point of view, the interesting information is that we are starting the first academic 5G network in the Czech Republic for industrial development. The faculty that I come from is a faculty of electrical engineering, computer science. It has 8 departments focusing on electrical engineering called branches and IT technology. If you wanted to visit or join us, just let me know. My contact information is in the presentation. I hope it will be shared with you. It's here. So there was a short introduction, and now let me focus on the topic of today, that is IoT, AI, and in particular in this talk, deep learning as one of the major areas in what we call nowadays artificial intelligence. I will focus on, well, it will be more technical presentation, and I will focus on some elementary principles of deep learning, like really introduction into the field. And I would like to focus also or mention some selected properties of deep neural nets, deep neural networks. So let me start with a quick look at deep learning as a new learning paradigm. I believe you all heard about it more or less in the recent time, but in fact, the topic, the principle, the idea of deep learning is connected to more ancient or older principles. So we think about, or we put deep learning inside the umbrella of intelligent systems, which deal quite a lot with the ability to detect, model, and predict something on the basis of data. The performance, the efficiency, the ability of such algorithms to deliver is based on, it is very much depending on the representation of data that we are using. So selecting a good representation is in fact one of the key problems, key areas of modern day machine learning. If I should give an example, we can start with one seminal data set, one seminal example, and that is this iris data set. So the iris data set in fact deals with different types of flowers from the genus Iris that are divided into different subgroups. And the data set describes all these types of flowers, actually some samples of these flowers from different classes by only 4 variables. They are related to the geometry, to the shape of different parts of the flowers. And that's one way how we can represent reality. These data represent reality, the flowers. However, we might want to start with another representation. We can start with these vectors, with the numbers of variables that represent some objects in the real world, and we want to represent them in a way similar to a graphical representation. So I don't know if you are familiar with the concept of Chernoff faces. It's one of the means of graphical representation of arbitrary data. It takes different facial actually features of a human head and links that to different variables in dataset. And we can take this iris dataset and represent different records in this iris dataset using this Chernoff face pipeline, Chernoff face algorithm. And you will see that you can then represent each flower in the dataset as this funny like emoji-like face. But you will see that there are different groups that kind of describe similar classes. So that was only an example, and the real question is, if we want to find a representation of data and without any specific domain knowledge, how can we do that in an automated way? So the technology or the stream of activities, that research that focuses on this is called representation learning, and it's about the use of various machine learning techniques to discover the mapping between some reality and an input and the representation that is useful for a particular purpose. So it means that it will include some sort of more automated understanding of the data and its representation that is then optimized for a particular use. And how this is connected to deep learning is this example. So, in this example. So you have all heard, I believe, about autoencoders as one of the important elements of deep learning or neural computation in particular. So an autoencoder is an unsupervised neural network. It takes an input, transforms it through a number of transformations into a reduced representation that is called code. And then it again decodes the representation into an output. And what is expected here, this is an unsupervised method, is that the input and the output, they will match, and for all records in a data set. In that sense, this autoencoder is learning reduced, compressed representation of the data in relation to the operations of the neural network. And it actually also shows whether the data, in fact, can be represented in a compressed way. So deep learning is a particular methodology, is a particular paradigm that solves this representation learning problem by creating a hierarchy of representations, a hierarchy of concepts that can be learned by some automated algorithm. If I should give another example, more from the real world, it is similar to what we do when we produce complex blueprints of systems like here, a car engine. So you represent the whole car engine, this complex thing, by a hierarchy of less complex parts that in the end are represented by really elementary nails, screws, and other very simple building blocks. And this is what in neural computation and deep learning, this is what is under the hood. You have a complex input, which is often a signal or an image, and you apply a pipeline of neural operations, many layers of artificial neural network that is learning the parts in that signal. If it's a visual signal, we can actually, in fact, very nicely interpret what each layer of this deep neural network sees. We can give it some meaning and see that this neural net will learn the representation of a complex object like a car by understanding different parts of the image, seeing that there is a set of that is a hierarchy of objects like rectangles, shapes, lines, colors, and so on. And it together creates objects that we want to find in that picture. And this is how we are trying, or how deep learning algorithms are trying to interpret what they see in a picture. So deep learning is quite a recent thing, introduced around 2006. But it is not for the first time that we are trying to understand data in this way. If we look into history, it was actually, and you know the history of neural computation, artificial neural networks, you would see that already in 1940s there were some efforts in this field, and it was called cybernetics, this field at that time. In 1980s and 90s, there was a renewed interest in artificial neural network, and it was known as connectionism, this field. And since 2006, it is deep learning. What is the real difference between these three levels, three ages of artificial neural networks is basically only the dimension of data, the availability of data, the performance of the hardware that is used to train models, and the dimension of the models that are actually created. So it sounds funny, but the only real difference is in dimension in these methods. If we could place, or if we wanted to place deep learning inside the context of machine learning and representation learning that I just mentioned, it could look like this if we represented it by a Venn diagram. So it's a subset of representation learning, which itself is a subset of machine learning. And that is, of course, somehow related to artificial intelligence. One of the most prominent types of deep learning are deep neural networks. So let me focus on that and give a short introduction of neurocomputing deep neural nets and some algorithms and tricks that are associated with that. And after that, I will move towards the combination, the marriage of deep learning and IoT, Internet of Things. So an artificial neural network, for those of you who are not familiar with that, is a computational model that is composed of multiple information processing units that map input to an output using a certain set of operations and are able to solve problems. A single unit, single element of an artificial neural network, which is often called a perceptron, artificial neuron, is able to solve a linearly separable problem. What it means is that it can solve classification problem on a data set that is in this form. You have here, you want to, in that cloud, you want to separate the black and the white dots, the white points. So if it has this shape, it's linearly divided, the boundary is linear, you can do that with a single neuron. This is not the case of most real-world problems, so you need to create something more powerful. Luckily, it is easy in neural computation. You can create a network that is composed of multiple layers of these information processing units, and it will solve that problem for you in some cases, of course. Feed-forward network, which is a name, or multi-layer perceptron, which is a name for this type of artificial neural network, is able to solve arbitrarily smooth problems. So problems where the decision boundary is complex but smooth function. So what it really does is that it takes the input data, which is not linearly separable. You can see it here that these points cannot be divided by a single line, but it applies a transformation that makes them linearly separable, and then it is possible to solve this type of problem. So this pipeline of transformation leads to transformation of the data so that it is solvable by linear separation. The real problem in this field is how to train the artificial neural network. There are many approaches to that. The most well-known are backpropagation, which is an iterative update of weights with regard to the error of the classification. But you can use also more generic algorithms like meta-heuristics, particle swarm optimization, differential evolution, and so on. So, okay, so we have a model, we have a training algorithm, and we would like to know if it can solve our particular problem. There is one interesting result on artificial neural network. It's called universal approximation theorem, and it, in a very simplified way, says that if the problem or the function is subject to some conditions, like that it is squashing and it is Borel measurable. I don't go into details here because there's not so much time. The theorem says that it can be solved by an artificial neural network with only single layer of hidden neurons, single hidden layer of neurons. So what it actually tells us is that we are lucky because an artificial neural network with only one hidden layer can solve an arbitrary problem. The problem really is, and the trick is that it does not tell us anything about the structure or about the width, about the number of neurons that we need, and it does not tell us anything about the way how we should set up the network. So this is one of the motivations for the introduction of deep neural networks. Although we know by this universal approximation theorem that we require only one layer, we also know that we don't know a practical algorithm to train such a network, to find such a network for any problem. So the solution related to the development of technology and so on is that we are trying to create deep networks, stacking multiple layers, actually a large number of layers on top of each other, and training them by the algorithms that already exist for training of artificial neural networks, like backpropagation and other training methods. Then we can interpret these deep networks from 2 points of view. The representation, what it shows that we are able, by this composition of concepts, we are able to solve even complex functions. And then from the learning point of view, because we also need to rely on our assumption that we will be able to find such hierarchy. So there are different types of deep neural networks. They are used for different purposes. I would like to focus not on types of networks, but also on some methods that are used to help the technology to find even complex configurations of deep networks. That is regularization, unsupervised pre-training, and transfer learning in some domains. I think we don't need to go into technical details, but only mention what is the purpose of these technologies. So regularization is a set of quite different techniques, in fact, that help the networks to improve the generalization, because they are quite good at learning, but that leads to a problem that is called overfitting. So regularization by parameter norm regularization, dataset augmentation, introduction of noise or early stopping, parameter sharing, and sparse distributed representations that helps to deal with this problem and improve the ability of the networks to be useful for practical problems. Transfer learning, it's another example of advanced technique that was associated with the introduction of deep learning. We can find quite complex models that can solve the problem in one environment, in one context, and we would like to solve the same problem in another complex context. So the way to do that, to use the technology that wants to use the previous effort that was done to build the model in one context, is transfer learning. So it takes the existing model and only adapts it in another context. And it hopes that the similarities that already were captured by the model will be helpful also in the knowledge will be helpful also in the new context. And this is similar to domain adaptation. And that brings me to the last part of the presentation, that is deep learning versus IoT, or deep learning in IoT. I would like to focus here on three areas, three aspects. That is hardware support that we have, only some examples, few software tools that we can use here, and an example of an application. The important thing here is that everything I was talking about was developed in context of powerful hardware, like GPUs, like supercomputing, like multi-core and cluster. However, IoT is completely different ecosystem. It contains constrained devices and needs to operate with stringent energy budgets. So the models, if we want to use them, need to be optimized, energy aware, and also they can take advantage of the distribution and parallelization. So if we wanted to have a look at on the example of some devices, I would like to mention mobile accelerators, like the products of NVIDIA Jetson family or members of NVIDIA Jetson family, which is a parallel device that can be used in embedded contexts, contains several hundreds GPU cores, has hardware support for inference in artificial neural networks, deep networks, and provides a number of teraflops or tera operations per second. So quite some power. There are also some other accelerators, other types of accelerators, like this Google Corel Edge TPU, Tensor Processing Unit, which is a specific device that can be used really in the Internet of Things context, because what you see here on the slide, this is the development kit and the real ASIC, application-specific integrated circuit, that is inside of that and delivers the performance, it has the size of this. So this is an example of that. It is smaller than 1 penny, 1 US cent. And it's really increased. It's bigger than in reality, even on that slide. So this is the hardware that you can use presently. Many more devices existing, developed by companies like NXP and Texas Instruments and so on. What is the software that you can use to push your deep learning models to this hardware? Well, there is again plenty of tools, plenty of software stacks. I will mention only two that are based on very popular machine learning libraries. That is TensorFlow Lite, and after that, PyTorch Mobile. So TensorFlow Lite is a library that brings the models, basically created in TensorFlow, one of the industry standards in machine learning, towards mobile devices. And the way it does it is displayed on the slide here. You create a model in normal settings, in a full-fledged system, and then you can use TensorFlow Lite to optimize, compress, reduce the model, and push it to the mobile device where it can be used to perform inference. And the device can be, again, it can be a mobile accelerator, it can be a mobile chip, mobile SoC, or something like Raspberry Pi, even that. Similar library is PyTorch Mobile, which takes not TensorFlow models, but PyTorch models and provides similar services for them. So you can take the model, create it offline, create it in laboratory settings, and then push it through a series of operations automated by PyTorch Mobile to a mobile device, and then use for the tasks that were mentioned in many previous presentations. And I have here one example of an application. I'm glad it is not exactly the same like that was in the previous talks. It comes from the world of automotive, because automotive industry is one of the biggest markets, one of the biggest customers for smart IoT embedded solutions. And the example deals with driver drowsiness detection, because this is one of the problems that can happen in car. If the driver is not feeling well, he or she can cause a traffic accident. So how can we prevent that? One way to do that is to have a car that is smart enough that it checks on the driver and eventually raises an alarm or even stops if it's a very advanced self-driving car. So, but you can find many other examples of actually image processing that can be used in automotive, like obstacle detection, road sign detection, even the self-driving pipeline requires that. The picture that you see on the slide is, of course, a picture from some marketing materials, but in laboratory settings and nowadays also in cars using in-car computing, you can find many efforts and you can find many particular models that are used for this particular reason. So that is the example that I wanted to give you, and that brings me to conclusions, to summary. So I would like to draw your attention towards deep learning and point it out that it can be very successfully used in the context of IoT. So I suggest you study this area, and if you find a very good application, well, the world is yours to conquer. Thank you. This is the end of the presentation.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. Can you stand by here? After this is Q&A session.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. Oke, jadi untuk dari presentasi Profesor Pavel, Di sini saya akan memberi kesimpulan singkat. Jadi pembelajaran mendalam dan IoT. Di sini nanti di sini tadi dimulai dari machine learning, lalu direpresentasi, selanjutnya jadi deep learning atau pembelajaran secara mendalam gitu. Jadi IoT mewakili ekosistem baru dari perangkat yang ada di manapun dan berbeda dari sumber daya komputasi tradisional. Karena sifatnya yang tersebar secara masif dan seringkali dibatasi, mereka membutuhkan pendekatan yang sangat khusus gitu. Jadi nanti kedepannya bisa sangat mengoptimalkan sadar energi dan terdistribusi secara masif atau paralel. Nah, untuk pembelajaran mendalam atau deep learning ini memfasilitasi penemuan hierarki konsep yang ada dalam beberapa data. Dan hal ini sangat berguna ketika banyak data yang tidak berlabel atau tidak memiliki identitas ada dan sumber daya komputasi yang signifikan itu akan mulai tersedia. Jadi ini bisa menjadi kekuatan utama di balik banyaknya teknologi yang muncul hingga saat ini gitu. Dan IoT mewakili ekosistem baru dengan potensi pembelajaran mendalam yang sangat bagus. Gitu aja, just it. It's simple. Okay, and now I think we can move to Miss Anissa.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Azad. So now we have a Q&A session. Oh, we already have someone who wants to ask the speakers directly. Okay. Okay, let me unmute the...
Okay, thank you very much to the Anissa moderators. I would like to, firstly, I would like to thank to the Dr. Joseph M.Kom as a rector of STEKOM University, and also I would like to regard with the Mampuono M.Kom Vice Chairman of Smart Indonesian and other, and Dr. Lili Nurlaili, MSA. Okay, and mostly I would like to send my regard to that I really adore the Professor Dr. Pavel Krömer as Associate Professor Department of Computer Science in BCB, because I know exactly, and also to the other key speakers. Yeah, but I would like to maybe before I ask questions, that I would like to give a picture about the Czech, because I know exactly what kind of development of Czech is. Yeah, I know that so many patents and so many great experts that in Czech. Okay, then, maybe that I have read in some online bulletins of Czech bulletins that Czech is almost not almost surpass the superiority in the technology discovery against Germany, for example. So this is very interesting. Yeah. So okay, I think maybe I just left this because I have to ask many questions to the great key speakers. First, I want to ask about this. Most speakers here have presented about the how great technology and discover and the whole discovery. But I just want to ask that why that so many great advanced technology, but also there is a lack. That is, we do not discuss about the safety of the technology, for example. The security of technology, for example, like here in Indonesia, for example, if we know that so many hackers, for example, hackers can introduce to the some accounts, people accounts, and they try to steal the personal data, for example. Okay, we still do not answer for that. This is the challenge for the expert, I think. The challenge for the whole expert in the whole world. I hope that the Czech expert will be the first pioneer to find out to discover about this. I challenge for the Czech expert, of course. That's first. Okay. Secondly, I try to make a summary. Secondly, in developing countries, so many people, population live in low income, low and middle income, for example. So how can this technology will be reached out, especially for the low income people in the whole world? That if we compare population, the wealthier and the low income, the poorer, so that we know that the poorer is a little bit much than wealthier people in the world. So this is the challenge. How can we discuss? How can later that we can invite the expert in financial analysis to discuss how this product with the very high cost of production can be sold out and can be reached out for the people with the low income in the whole world. This is the most that sometimes we don't think about it. We think about how to sell, but we don't think about how it can be reached to the whole people. This is secondly. And the third, that we also ask about the green technology. Like before, Professor Liu has presented about how this technology or maybe radiation or the impact of the technology to the human body or the human health, for example. Now, so many results for expert journals I read before that they wrote that for maybe mobile phones, for example, mobile phones, it gives much radiation and it will come to the human sense of body, and it will contage whole the body, and it will be make a danger in the future. For example, will be occur a cancer disease, for example, because of. Okay, that's very important. The three questions, I think for this time, I have a lot of concern, but I think this because the time is not enough to discuss full. That's why I think maybe I can ask it firstly for the key expert from abroad. Thank you very much, moderator, and good luck.
Okay, so okay. So can I'm sorry, Mr. Otobustani. So can you address who you asking the professor, like one by one?
Okay. The whole question, the three questions, I will address it mostly to my adored expert, Professor Pavel Krömer. Because why? Because my mother is from Czech too, yeah, but my father is from Indonesia. That's why I adore Czech. Yeah, I will. Yes, this is my hero, of course. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, so I will address it to to the professor and later to Dr. Saneja. Maybe sorry if I wrongly, and Professor Liu too. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yes, so Professor Pavel.
So very, very nice and unexpected meeting. Nice to meet you too, Professor Bustani. I can give only short comments, maybe. You are, of course, right that security is a problem. It is a concern, and I don't know how to deal with that. I would say that one way to improve the security of IT and IoT as well is looking in blockchain technology, because that can help with at least some problems, and a lot of security issues are based also on the literacy when it comes to cybersecurity of users of the systems, because a lot of protocols, they are probably secure, and the way hackers attack them is through social engineering and by basically attacking the weakest link in the chain that is the user. You also talked about the availability of this modern technology in low-income areas, and I think here is a synergy of two effects. One, that because of the nature of IoT technology, embedded devices, energy constraints, that all pushes the technology towards being simple. So if it's simple, if it's not overly complex, if it needs only a small number of transistors, everything, it means that it will be in the end also cheaper, and that can be connected with mass production. The devices that I shown, the GPUs, the accelerators, they were actually created, or the development was powered by computer entertainment industry. So the mass production related to computer entertainment industry GPUs actually led to the development of these devices, which are now universally usable. And finally, you mentioned that there might be some other dangers like the radiation and stuff. I'm also thinking often about that. And I remember that when we started in IT, the most popular display type was CRT display. And everyone told us that we will be very much, and that the radiation that comes out of that is too dangerous. Today, no one complains because it's gone. Everything is LED display. So this radiation is not there. So my hope is that there will be, again, a quick shift in paradigm, which will remove all these problems and, well, replace it with another set of problems, but probably they won't last so long. That's my answer. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Pavel. So, is there any question that for Dr. Shahina, maybe? Okay, Dr. Shahina, maybe Professor Liu, or maybe Dr. Shahina can. Okay, so Professor Liu, earlier, maybe Mr. Otto, you want to ask him directly? Oh, we have. Okay, maybe you want to ask him directly this one, and we have another live question after this one. We're going to have another live question. So maybe Mr. Otto, you want to ask Professor Liu directly?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes. Okay, I repeat again my questions is exactly. Yeah, like Professor Liu presented before about this. If I'm not wrong, that I resume that the impact of technology to the human body, that give an example of heart attack disease. So this is a challenge for the expert, the whole expert in the world. We have to make a collaboration between the expert in the health and the expert in IoT, AI, also trying to discuss, to find out, discover how to solve this problem to the human in the future. Because this is because we live with technology every day. So how can we live if it is danger? If we have a friend and the friend is danger, how can we live with it, with him? So this is the same. How can you can offer us as a consumer that this is safe later to find out the green technology for this? I think this is a simple, yeah, for thank you very much.
他说：“你刚才可能有提到了说一个案例，我们不是举了一个老太太，她可能摔倒了，然后你说，可以通过这个服务器，然后给她提供，然后比如说发出警报，医院来把她这个救走。他说，那你怎么能够保证说，比如说这个信息是准确的？比如说你一个朋友，怎么样子摔倒了，那你怎么保证说的意思是说，医院能够正确的判断这个人是，比如说是生病了，然后来救治他？”
实际上它这种的话，因为有大量的人联系到这上面，然后每一种病症的发生，它都有它的一些特征。按照用人工智能分析的方法，它能够分析出每一些重要疾病的时候，生理上的一些体态，就是说生理的一些主要指标，能够根据这判断得出来，它是一种，就是说它是什么病发作了。这是一个。第二个的话就是说，现在那些穿戴设备经常都带有定位信息，那医院的话也就根据这定位信息也能够比较容易的找到它。
Okay, Professor Liu answer your question that of course it's a kind of new settlement appear not very long. Surely we may take time to collect more exact information in the future to assure that this kind of situation is true. Such as you mentioned that if one of the patient have heart disease or some kind of disease happen, then the information or the digital data of the body situation will be sent to the server, and maybe for some time the server will have a kind of calculation, have a kind of deal that can assure the hospital can get the right information. Then we can have a quick solution to that kind of situation.
Okay, I wait for that. Okay, later, yeah. Maybe you have solved this problem. I will wait.
I think it will happen not very long. It will be.
Thank you. If that's so, thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for Mr. Otto and also
yes,
Professor Pavel and also Professor Liu. And here is any question for all speakers. This is from Mr. Lanang. Question is it possible that humans can also be given artificial intelligence so that they can be smarter and more uniform? That's mean, is it possible is the AI or artificial intelligence take on the human that can help the human be smarter like that? This is for Professor Pavel, Krömer, and for Professor Liu, and also for, yes, Dr. Saina.
Okay.
Yes.
We can say that there are very smart robots that are used to help senior citizen people, especially in European countries. They are still under developing, but they are working on it, and those robots will help the senior citizens for their household work. They will use to set the table. They will be able to cook the food. Especially there are different items used for the breakfast time, the lunch time, and the dinner time. So those robots are must be able to recognize different objects and different activities recognize. Yes, these type of robots are on their way, hopefully in near future, that will support human intervention.
Okay, thank you. So what about Professor Liu about this question.
May I have your question again? Sorry.
Okay, the question is it possible that humans can also be given artificial intelligence so that they can be smarter and more uniform?
人类有没有可能被安装上这个人工智能，然后比这个机器人，比如说更聪明？
是人呢？
啊，
实际上的话，人本来就比机器人聪明。我觉得机器人的所谓人工智能，机器人为什么有的时候看上去比人更聪明？那最主要的不是它聪明，而是它的计算能力比我们人强。所以机器往往用的是最笨的办法，但是呢，用它超强的计算能力，比人做的聪明的方法做得更快。所以看上去觉得机器比人聪明。
Okay, Professor Liu said that actually we should say all in all human beings should be wiser than the artificial intelligence. But why the artificial intelligence look much wiser than human being looks? It just looks, but actually not, because people make kind of just like knowledge information into that machine, so it can calculate much faster than human being. But actually it's just a kind of machine calculation, but not wiser than human being. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So what about Professor Pavel? What is your comment about this question?
Yes, thanks. In fact, I pretty much agree with Professor Liu, because I think AI and this technology can help us be more efficient in certain tasks, or even bypass some problems that may happen, but it will never, I understand smart or intelligent also as creative and being able to solve problems that were previously not encountered. You can do a lot of, you can mimic that a lot by using intelligent, what we call intelligent technology, but it will never achieve, in my opinion, this will never achieve a human level intelligence. And that's it.
Okay, thank you so much. So, any question at all? Nisa? Okay, I think this is the last questions. Thank you so much for Professor Pavel and also okay, yes. This is the last question. So thank you so much for Professor Pavel, Professor Liu, and also Professor Sahina.
Okay, so it's an end. Bye-bye.
Yes, I will close this first.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end of the webinar. So we would like to say thanks again for all speakers and for their informative and interesting talk, answer all questions from us and from audience, and also thanks to Dr. Joseph, thanks to all of audience for joining and active participation. Hopefully, thank you very much everyone for attending today's webinar. Hopefully the presentation will be beneficial for audience. If we have some mistakes, we will say sorry, so sorry, and thank you for your attention. This is the message: always wear mask, always washing your hand, and keep your distance, and avoid to the crowd to be healthy and avoid COVID-19. So now, thank you, see you, and goodbye. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much, all of audience.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
How to say bye-bye in...
Thank you.
Yeah, and see you on the next our international webinar.